Hey everybody, welcome. I'm not sure if everyone can hear me. Any signs out there? So, welcome everybody. I just, firstly want to take the chance to thank everybody for coming. I see there's quite a few people online already, and well, cool. We don't do this very often, and we actually have a lot of fun doing this each time. So I promise we will try and do this more regularly. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions, and we promise we will try and get to as many of them as possible. It's not always possible to reach all the questions or the answers, but like we've said before, if you have anything really on your heart and maybe we haven't answered your YouTube comments, please just send us a direct mail and we will try and get back to your answers. So firstly, guys, we are on, I think, 519,000 subscribers. This is incredible, guys. Thank you so much. It's all because of you liking, sharing, and just spreading the word on what we're doing. This is incredible. It's a massive milestone for us. I think we should be getting one of those cool little plates in the mail at some point, but nothing's arrived yet. Generally, the things that come from the States take about 5 to 6 months to get here. So maybe we get a surprise in the post one of these days. But guys, thank you so much. This is really incredible. The reach we've got has completely surpassed our expectations, and this is just really cool. So thank you to every single one of you that watch, subscribe to our page, and just help spread the word. This makes what we're doing worthwhile, and at the end of the day, our mission is to just spread awareness on ocean pollution, and this is exactly what we're doing by having you guys so involved. So thank you. So yeah, I'm not alone right now. I've got quite a support network all around me. Katja, the big boss, the brains behind the operation, is here. She's coordinating everything. Yes, Antoine is back. He is he's camera shy. He's a bit of a difficult guy to get in front of the camera. He loves animals more than people, as you've seen on the videos. And I will try and get him to make a little presence just to prove that he is real and here. But he is here, and we are joined by Wally and Kat as well, and our newest members. So this is all really exciting. And yeah, Denzel couldn't join us tonight. Denzel very recently, his wife gave birth to a little boy, Caleb. He was born quite prematurely, so he spent a bit of time in hospital, but he's back home now. They're happy, everything's good, and Denzel is a super proud dad. He keeps joking that his son's going to be even faster than him. Like, he was so fast at being born that it was, it's a running joke in the group. But we're very stoked for Denzel. And Castine, our intern, the student we've taken in, she's from the Namibian University of Science and Technology. She's just gone home for the weekend, but she's also one of our new team members. She's joining us for a 3-month internship and helping us a lot with data capturing. She's writing a very cool paper on based on the work we've been doing, and we're really, really happy to have her on the team. So just so guys, I will get the questions and what's been happening with us a bit later. I just want to give you a little bit of a rundown, a catch up while we are here. The rescues this year have been relatively slow. We are now on 47 rescues for the year so far. I know that sounds really low compared to like 600 from last year, but we're actually quite on line with the numbers from last year. Although we're feeling that there's just very few rescues around at the moment, but this is a really, really good thing. The seals around Pelican Point in particular are fat, they're healthy, they're really, really looking good. And there's just been so much life in the water, especially, I mean, you all remember the big die-off we had at the end of last year. They have, the fish that came late have now come. I mean, they arrived in sort of November and they just haven't left. There's just so much life out there at the moment. The seals are smiling. They don't have to go far to feed. So our theory at the moment is that because the fish are so close, the seals are spending a lot of time close to shore. So they're spending more time on the beach, which gives them less exposure to entanglements in the water. So I think this is a very big reason why we are seeing so few entanglements at the moment. And this is awesome news. We love happy seals. They are really, I mean, honestly, they can see on the videos, they are fat, healthy, they're fast, they're they're growing perfectly on track. So we are really stoked at the current situation. We just hope it can stay. Also, I mean, our biggest culprit last year at this time was the snook fishing lines, the thick commercial fishing lines, the big bundles of line we've seen everywhere. And these guys, the snook fishery has been very slow this year. There's been almost no snook caught. We've seen the first commercial boats heading out a few days ago. So this is also definitely a big contributor to the lack of entanglements we're seeing at the moment. So that's good. So a lot of people are asking about the seal Gandalf that we saw a couple of about 2 weeks ago. Young male with a massive ball of fishing line, like really, really tight around his throat. We saw him once. He was too fast for us. We got some photos, and we've been back so many times to look for this guy. We've put drones out. We've been searching this area. We've searching the whole peninsula for him. We've had boats looking for him. I mean, he's such a noticeable seal. We really should have, if he was anywhere on the peninsula, we would have seen him again, and we would have made all efforts to catch him. But the hope is that the lines weren't as tight as we thought, and that he's done another fishing trip. He's out for a while, catching up, fattening up again, and he'll be back soon. And we haven't given up hope yet. That's what I'm trying to say. We will not stop looking for him. I mean, we're there most days of the week, and if we see him, we will make all the efforts to free him up. So, as you guys know, we've just had this amazing trip up to the north of Namibia. It's a very cool situation. We were invited by the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources, which is a huge thing for us. We are really, really grateful. Often there's not much cross collaborations between private institutions and government institutions, but they've obviously seen the work we've been doing and realized that we've got some help or some experience, I want to say, with dealing with seals, and they've got some things they want to expand on. So they called us in as a collaboration project, which was really, really cool. The idea was to just do a seal monitoring trip. So we covered 1,400 kilometers. I think that's about 800 miles up the coast and back of Namibia. We went to the 4 major seal colonies in the northern part of Namibia, which constitute the majority of the Namibian seal population. And it was amazing. We got to some colonies up there that basically have had very little exposure to humans, really out of the reach colonies. The furthest north colony was 200 kilometers north of any people. And I mean, the colony of the human colony of Merva Bay is about 5 to 10 people. So these seals never see people. But sadly enough, there were still entanglements in all these colonies. Not the same rate, obviously, as what we're seeing here close to human, close to port, where there's much more pressure, but it's just something that's going to follow the seals wherever if it can float, it can move in the water, and it can become a potential entanglement. So, but the purpose of the trip was, in each of the colonies, we had to, the surveys included doing a drone survey of each colony. So we had to fly the drone over just to check out general populations, see ratios between adults and pups, males and females. We had to do scat collections. Now, scat is a fancy word for seal poo. We had to walk around. Actually, I didn't. I was quite busy with the seals, but we had my dad along. Cat was brilliant. She's used to dealing with bad smells, so, and that's not Wally. No. So we collecting bags and bags of seal poo. It was seal poo is really, really smelly, but the seal poo can give a lot of information. There's these tiny little bones in every little fish's head called otoliths, and these get left behind in the scat. So the seal, by filtering and studying the seal poo, they can see what the fish are feeding on and what consistencies, and also gives them an idea of where the fish are in relation to the seal. So a lot of knowledge can be gained from collecting seal poo. And then, of course, in each group, we had to catch 50 pups. So the pups were really, pups are at an age where they're fast, they're getting a lot stronger, and we had to catch and weigh 50 pups in each colony, basically to see that all the pups are on track with what their growth should be, and comparing the different average weights between the different colonies. So we had these amazing nets made. It's just like our seal net, just much smaller, perfectly fits a seal pup, so running up behind them, bagging them, seal in the net, and then running back to the scale, weighing him, releasing him, and next one. We were about 5 or 6 people catching seals. We normally got it done in about 15 to 20 minutes. Actually, not that much disturbance to the group, but a lot of data to be gained from that. So, and then on top of that, some seal rescues. So basically, mainly scanning for entanglements. So looking for entanglements that were just checking the rate of entanglement in the different colonies, and then opportunistic seal rescues where possible. So Cape Cross, I mean, we've been working Cape Cross a lot lately. We actually only saw 2 entanglements there, and we caught 1. Merva Bay, the next colony up, we actually managed to do 5 disentanglements, which was really cool. We weren't expecting to do any. We did 5 throughout the day, and we saw at least another 3 or 4 other animals that were entangled too that we missed along the way. So we're very happy to get some work done there, and this is particularly one colony we're really keen to get back to. I mean, Merva Bay, just to show you, I just want to pull up a picture for you. Merva Bay is very similar. This is Merva Bay. It's quite similar to Cape Cross in the sense that it's a rocky headland. So the seals stretch all around this peninsula, all the way around. Pretty consistent numbers to Cape Cross, I'd say, a couple 100,000 seals there. And this is a colony we'd like to get back to. Cape Frio, we caught 1 seal with an extremely bad entanglement right off the bat as we got there. It was a really bad scar, and we sat quite a while really trying to get something out of it. At the end, if there was something in there, which we're actually not 100% sure, we figured we'd be doing more damage by trying to remove this entanglement than actually rather just leaving it. The seal was still looking strong, but we just rather call it because we did not have the right equipment to proceed any further. We did see a few more entanglements at that colony, but in this colony, the seals are, so I'm just going to show you the Cape Frio colony. I'll show you a nice shot from the air. So you've got about 10 kilometers of beach where the seals are spread out along the beach. So it's very difficult to get a good vantage point. These seals are not used to humans, so they're extremely skittish of us. You can see on the side, on the left side, our car tracks. And even being a couple of 100 meters away from the seals, they'd start running ages before we even got there. So it's very difficult to try and do entanglement work then. And we will try and get back there and basically figure out how we can attend to the seals. But so that was the gist of the trip. It was very cool. We're dealing with people in high levels who are responsible for the seals in Namibia. We got some really cool information from them. We did a lot of cool campfire stories, and it was wild. It was absolute wild camping. It was a really cool experience, and something we hope to be invited on again. So there's people have been asking about our sort of what we do, our future projects, the plans for the future. Our system is constantly evolving. We like to let things just sort of proceed organically, and at the moment we have our sort of current upcoming projects. One is involving diving. We've had a lot of small seal pups getting entangled very close to the beach at Pelican Point. Well, we assume close to the beach because we were getting them from when they were about 6 weeks old. Now, these pups have they don't spend much time in the water. They've only just learned to swim, so they don't get very far out from the beach. So we want to dive around the Pelican Point Peninsula in collaboration with a bunch of local divers. Just get whoever's interested to come and join us, jump in the water with us, and do an underwater scan of potential entanglements underwater. I mean, there's all kinds of currents drifting past there, and because of the bay, there could be like a sort of a back eddy area or a gyre where the entanglements collect. So we want to check underwater what is actually lying out there and what we can find. Maybe we find nothing and we know the seals are heading further out, or that the seals are picking the plastic up, the entanglements up on the beach, and just getting to the entanglements before we can. I mean, we're driving on the beach pretty much every day, but we're seeing very few potential entanglements on the beaches, and those we do find, we take home. But maybe if something ends up on the beach, it's like a red light for them, and they just rush straight forward and play with it. So we're really keen to see what the outcomes of that would be. Problem around here is we need sort of weather and sea conditions to line up. The sea is generally quite rough, and our visibility underwater is not great to start with. We've got a very rich water system, a lot of plankton and algae in the water, so it can make the water quite murky. So we're just waiting for all the conditions to line up. Another thing we're going to do is OCN, Ocean Conservation Namibia. We're quite involved with the local soup kitchen, and it's in our local townships. It's a community that was a community of about, I don't know, a couple of thousand people. That was ravaged by fire last year. All their shacks got burnt down, and they're living in a sort of tent settlement at the moment. So anyway, there's a very cool organization called Task that is doing a feeding project there, and we're quite involved with them. And what we want to do is there's a lot of kids in this group, and they're always looking. They're so keen to help. Very, very amazing kids, and we want to not incentivize them, but get them involved in a beach cleanup. Basically educate them. The community is not that far away from the beach. It's a very popular coastal beach. A lot of people go there on the weekends, and a lot of rubbish gets left behind. Also, this beach borders on the dunes. Again, a lot of rubbish. So, in conjunction with the soup kitchen, we want to get all these kids black bags and just show them how much stuff is actually out there, and try and get them involved in cleaning. Just show them videos of the entanglements, what can happen with this rubbish, and just the big issue here is that people just have no idea of the consequences of their actions when it comes to dropping rubbish. And it's so unfortunate that people are always looking at kids to do these cleanups and things, but unfortunately it's their future. This is their country. They are the next generation, and these are the ones we need to educate. So we'll definitely keep you guys updated on that, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I just want to go through. I'm just going through the comments, and I want to see if we can find some questions. The first question I've got here is from Baby Yoda. How many seals do we save every day? So at the moment, we are averaging, I would say, 1, sometimes 2 a day when we go out. Last year, in the height of the entanglement time, between Denzel, Francois, and myself, the one day at Cape Cross, we got 22 entangled seals. We caught and rescued 22 entangled seals in one day. That's not even counting the few that we missed in between. So that is, it ranges a lot. The pups are not really at the age yet where they're going far enough to get mass amounts of entanglements. We normally find that things really start picking up from about mid-April. And that's when we start getting, I mean, we had this project, 100 seals for time last year, and we managed to get 100 seals in 1 month, in the month of May last year. Okay. Hudon is asking, what got me interested in doing this work? I've grown up in nature. I've grown up around the ocean. My parents were in conservation, and I've just always felt like a custodian for the ocean. I've grown up on the beaches here, and the seals have always played a big part in my life, in work and in my just hanging around the beaches, surfing, diving, kayaking. The seals have always been around, and it just from a young age, my dad was quite involved as well in marine animal rescues. He caught a few seals. He'd get called out whenever there were whales stuck on the beaches or anything, dolphins, and tended like that. And it just built up from there. There's just it just seemed right to me. It didn't seem like any other option that to let these animals suffer. So no, I guess it's just a mindset I've just always had to want to help animals, especially marine animals. So do you have the opportunity to see any of the data for the first samples that have been collected? Very interesting question. Not yet. So these are our PhD projects that take quite a while. So anybody that's not in tune here, basically you'll see in a lot of the videos we take first samples from the seals. There are some very interesting studies being done in France at the moment by some scientists checking stress hormones in seals in general. So they compare first samples from normal seals, first samples from entangled seals, first samples from dead seals, to check the levels of stress hormones within these animals to see how this would affect them also after entanglement. So we are very, very keen to see what this all yields. It will be it's a very interesting project that we really can't wait to see the results. We are still collecting samples all the time, and obviously the bigger sample size you have, the better results you're going to get in a study like this. Okay, somebody's asking, when you drive the Jeep towards the seals, they don't seem as bothered if you approach by foot, despite the Jeep is bigger, faster, and makes noise. Why is that? Basically, the big difference is that when we drive in by car, we're catching them by surprise, which is the only reason why we're doing it. The reason we do what we call the drive-in rescues is we quite specifically choose those rescues that are near, when we've got an animal that's either very close to the water or very alert, and we think there's a very big chance we could lose him. Sometimes a lot of animals will go for a fast asleep, and that's when we walk in or run in, and because we're quite confident we can catch them. But when they are very alert, they're standing up, they're not far from the water, we will use the car to go in, because they're so used to the cars driving past, not stopping, that they're normally not quite bothered by a car that's actually moving a bit faster. But if the seal is, if we can come in quick, we get such a big head start that we get dropped off literally 10 meters from the seal, and it's a quick capture in the net. And this is why we use the Jeep on certain rescues. But there's quite a lot of planning before each rescue, that we will sit back in the car and decide, okay, which method are we going to use? It's not just run and go. There's normally a couple of minutes of deliberation and debate in the car on what the best approach is going to be. Okay, we get this question very often. Why don't we apply antiseptic? Basically, after consultation with a lot of vets and animal and seal experts from around the world, actually, it has been decided that the best course of action for these animals actually is just natural salt water. Salt water on its own, it's very antiseptic, it's antibacterial. When dealing with these bad entanglements, when you want to apply antiseptic, the first thing to do is really clean out the wound properly. You've got to make sure there's no sign of infection left. You can't just apply antiseptic and let this thing go. The wound has to be completely debrided first. You need to get all the old infected material out. And also, once this antiseptic is on, these seals are running straight into the ocean. So most of it just gets washed off immediately anyway. So in order to do proper antiseptic, and yes, in some cases would be a good course of action, but this needs to be done in a proper rehabilitation facility. That seal then needs to be properly tranquilized, relocated to a rehabilitation facility, and properly attended by vets. And we just don't have the luxury of that in Namibia. Not an endangered species. There is no seal rehabilitation center probably for about 2,000 kilometers. So we've chosen to just release them into the ocean and let the salt water do the work. We've had some recaptures of seals that have been extremely bad. We thought the seal is going to lose its entire head, and seen them again weeks, months later, and these animals have healed up so well. So we are very confident in the powers of the salt water. So we've been getting a lot of questions again about volunteering. Again, we're a small organization. We don't really have any volunteering programs at the moment. Like I mentioned, we've got Kerstin in. She's a biology student, and she's doing an internship with us. If we're going to bring in short-term volunteers, we'd like them to be Namibians, because we want to obviously create employment and just create awareness within Namibia. It's amazing that we have so many people expressing interest, but it's a difficult situation. We're a small organization, and you've seen with the rescues that it doesn't help. The more people that we have out there, more difficult it becomes. It just becomes logistic. We need to have a second car. We need to have, and it just stresses the animals also out more to have more people there. I think right now, not yet. If it does get to the point that we have a rehabilitation center or do go bigger, by all means, and we will put an anonymous call out there for volunteering. But right now, we do not have any volunteering programs as of yet. Sorry. A lot of people ask why we don't talk to the seals. So seals, the seals, there are a lot of people that talk to animals, and I'm really not against the practice. I talk to my animals at home all the time, and we talk to the seals during the rescues, and often we do find it could be complete coincidence, but sometimes the animals do calm down, sometimes they do not at all. They just go out like they want to kill us. It doesn't matter how many times you pat them on the back and ask them to calm down in the nicest possible way. They don't care. So we are not, I think when people say talk to animals, they've got this idea that we should walk into the group of seals in a calm, in a calm voice and assure the animals we're not there to hurt them, and approach the seal and basically sit down next to him and be able to cut him free without this animal stressing out. Unfortunately, it does not work like that. If you walk into a group of very wild animals like we're doing, their natural instinct, they see us as predators, they're going to run. They're not going to sit and listen to what we have to say. Unfortunately, everything in their mind just tells them, run for your life. So, which means, and if we try that, I can guarantee they're all going to run away into the ocean, and we're going to miss the opportunity to rescue the seal that we're actually trying to get. So we do talk to them during the rescue. We try and calm them down, and like I said, sometimes I do believe that in the moment, often these seals do calm down, and that could be due to the soothing voice. There are a lot of studies on that, but in the approach, no, it does not, or it does not work for us at least. We do while running, we say, calm down, stop, where are you going? But maybe also because we're screaming at full volume because we're out of breath and trying to catch a seal that's running as fast as we are. Sorry, I've got another. I'm getting the questions I'm missing. I'm getting past little notes from the others all the time behind the scenes here. So even though there's still a comment on the screen, I'm busy answering other questions. So this one is, how do you spot them? I'll show you. I got this amazing new toy. Antoine brought from us. We ordered a spotting scope, which is really, really cool. This spotting scope gives us like an up to 60 times zoom. So normally we are using binoculars, which give us a 10 times zoom, and this spotting scope will enable us to then sit on the beach and look and see much further. So in a place like Cape Cross, where we've got so many seals together, we can basically set up one vantage point, set up the scope, and slowly scan through everything. Another big thing where this is going to be handy is often the seal is quite far away. We have what we call the recaptures. So we see the wound, but we're not sure if there's something in there or not. It's just too far out of range for binoculars, and we have to go and catch them anyway, and this causes a bit of extra stress. So hopefully with the spotting scope, with more zoom, we can actually determine beforehand whether there actually is an entanglement in there or not. Another cool thing Antoine has brought, I'm starting making him fetch it, just to prove to you all that he is real is there. That's Tony. He didn't even show his face. But yes, that was Antoine. He really is a strange one. You'll see. So we've got a pack of radios as well. So the idea is that we can have comms between each other. One guy running in, or one or two people running in towards the car or towards the seals. One guy in the car. And with the radios, we can actually coordinate the rescues a lot better. So I do believe these are going to be a bit of a game changer for us too. So we're quite excited to put all these new things to test. Okay, I get this question a lot as well. When are you going to switch to a chest mount camera? Probably easier and safer. My issue with the chest mount camera is that the chest mount camera points basically straight down, or it looks forward. So I'm spending most of my time bent over the seal, and all you're going to see is the ground or my pants. The other option is the head strap, which is a difficult one too. While I'm running, it bounces around a lot, and sometimes this thing gets bumped, it's out of alignment, and I've got these videos of either the head strap looking up at the sky or at my nose where it's been bounced out of place. So when it's in my mouth, and I know it's really annoying, and I'm sorry when I mumble, I'm trying to make more of a point of taking it out of my mouth when I'm talking, but then I know exactly where it is pointing at because it'll be looking at the same direction I'm looking at, and I can take it out and talk and move it. Sometimes I like to change the angle, so it's just the most convenient. If it's on my head or on my chest, I can't just move it around, especially if I'm on my own out there. So this is the reason why I'm using the chest mounted strap. What is the best zipper lubricant in the sand? So we've been going through this quite a bit actually, and just actually 1 second. Sorry, I've misplaced. I got a big block of beeswax. Somebody recommended us beeswax, and I found a block of beeswax which we want to use on the zipper. We've tried candle wax, and it works once or twice, and then it seems to wear out. What people don't always realize is that when the zipper hooks, I mean, people always see us struggling with the zipper. It's not so much sand, it's a seal fur that's getting stuck from the inside. It's not the sand that's causing the zippers to jam up, it's actual seal fur. So we have tried different lubricants. We're going to try the beeswax. Hopefully it's a bit more clingy, but it's a problem. That's why we're always working our hands in under the zipper to see what to get the fur out. Okay, are you still down to one net? Is the other net in for repair? So at the moment we've got two rigged up nets, two full-size nets. The one that huge guy broke, we've got repaired, and we've made a few modifications to it. We've actually put another zipper in further down. The big problem with that seal was that the entanglement, the seal was so big that it was behind where the zipper ends. So that's why I had to cut a little hole in the net to access the entanglement. So we've put another zipper behind the original zipper. We've sewn up the back. So we've got two loaded nets ready to go at any time, plus one still spare in the box. So this was all due to the funding campaigns we had last year. It was incredible. People really came to the party on that one, and we should be sorted till at least the end of the year. Sometimes we breaks our hearts, but sometimes we need to actually cut the nets. But it's such a satisfying feeling knowing that we've got backups all the time, and we've got somebody really good in town who can do the repairs for us. Another question we were getting quite often is whether we feel that entanglements are deliberate. To tell you the honest truth, no, I don't think so. It's very hard to say what's happening out at sea, and the entanglement materials we are getting are not. It's hard to say a loop of fishing line looks like it could easily have been tossed overboard to catch a seal. Now, a loop of fishing line also has a lot of applications on a boat to hang things up or to stow things away. So it's difficult to say that these are deliberate entanglements. I know the seals are not very popular within the fishing industry, but I honestly don't believe that people are deliberately going out of their way to try and hurt them. There are much easier ways to get rid of them, to kill them, than to sort of lay traps for them. So no, I don't think that the entanglements are actually deliberate. Do you store entanglement materials? Yes, we have. I've got like a whole garage storeroom full of entanglement materials. We've got last year we did over 600 rescues, and most of them were big balls of fishing lines. So we've got heaps and heaps and heaps of entanglements. Everything gets stored. We keep them for. We do public like community educational outreach programs and things. We like to display our special entanglement materials that we hang on to, but everything is being stored. We're looking at we actually have one or two like upcycling projects coming up with especially with the fishing lines. Fishing line turns out is actually quite a recyclable item or a material. So we're hoping that we can have further projects, collaboration projects, to use the fishing lines, especially because that is by far the majority of the entanglements we're dealing with. Oh, sorry. So I clicked on a comment and just disappeared. Yeah. Have you rescued any turtles or other sea creatures? We got one turtle about 1.5 years ago, but he wasn't entangled. He was just stuck in the fishing harbor. Caught him in the seal net actually, which is quite cool. And he ended up at the local aquarium. Sadly, he did not make it at the end of the day. He had some serious buoyancy issues. He just couldn't dive. They even tried putting a weight belt on him, and he simply could not dive. And he also had a really bad fungal infection in his eyes. His eyes were basically completely grown over with it looked like a layer of leather, so he couldn't see anymore either. And then we've had birds. We've had a jackal stuck in fishing line as well. So comes along if it's wrapped in anything, if it's an animal, we'll catch it. We're not discriminant. We just see a lot more seals entangled than anything else. Okay, so another question that's popped up a few times is: are we approaching the fishing industry? It's a very difficult one because the fishing industry is huge. It's our second biggest income generator for the whole country, or income sector. It's massive, and it's very difficult to pinpoint exactly where these entanglements are coming from. So everyone's going to say, that's not mine, that's not mine. And a lot of it is a lot of our entanglement materials are also coming from international fishing boats. So we've got a lot of other foreign fisheries working in our waters too. So it's very difficult to pinpoint exactly. So yes, we do speak to fishermen whenever we do get the chance. And we've had numerous fishermen actually approaching us, having seen our videos, and just basically stating that they had no idea that this was actually happening in the first place. So that is cool. And what's happening now is within our fishing factories, we are getting called up to come and attend sealed, and there are entangled seals swimming around within the harbour. People are calling us up to come and attend these entanglements in the harbour, which is great. People are realizing what we're doing and realizing what the effects of these materials are. So it's going to be a slow process, but yeah, we feel we're slowly starting to get the message out there. Okay, so we always say we're collecting data all the time, and we like to make this data publicly available. We've got numerous scientists we are working with. We've got some cool new apps that we are using to log the data. So when scientists, anyone approaches us, we're trying to keep our data that we're collecting as open source as possible. And we are trying to, and we, if people need the data, we are willing to share. There's a lot of data that we have collected and a lot that can be collected. So we are out there all the time. We have the opportunity to do this. So we're happy to share our findings to anybody that is interested. Okay. Are there rehabilitation centers there? If so, have you ever had to bring a seal or an animal home? 2-1. So, as I mentioned earlier, no. Sadly, there are no rehabilitation centers around. Seals we've got over 1.4 million seals in Namibia, so they are not a threatened or endangered species in any way. They are not seen. So, I mean, we're living in a very third world country here. Money is not going to be allocated to something like this. We have much bigger social and environmental issues in the country. We've got massive problems with rhino poaching and all kinds of poaching. We've got droughts. So seal rehabilitation centers for seals are unfortunately not a priority. Also, another big problem is I have brought 1 or 2 animals home before, and I've brought a host of birds and other animals home. But seals, the big issue with seals is they habituate very, very quickly. So you have to set up a very special kind of rehabilitation center. You need to tube feed them. You can't feed them by hand because after a few days, he's going to want to be fed by hand full time. He's going to become used to this. And for this reason, no, not yet. At least there's no rehabilitation center in Namibia for us to bring seals to. Disguises. We get a lot of amazing males, very, very, I want to say, elaborate, imaginative males from people, even just going as far as designing costumes for us, seal costumes to catch seals. It sounds like a good idea, but unfortunately, it's not. Seals also rely very much on as well as their eyesight. They actually rely more on their hearing and their sense of smell. Also, these suits would make it very cumbersome for us to run. You've seen that one thing we really rely on when catching these seals is speed. So their eyesight on land is actually not that great. Remember, they've got very big eyes designed for seeing deep underwater. They are not. So on land, everything is quite overexposed. So we don't need such an elaborate disguise, actually. We just need to dress in sort of earthy tones, and we should be able to get away with being quite unseen. It's more a matter of them hearing us, smelling us when we get closer, that alerts them to our presence than them seeing us. But some of the suits are really, really cool. We've even had, those big T-Rex suits, people designing seal versions of that, which would be... it'll look cool, but not practical at all. Not one tiny little bit, unfortunately. So I just saw a good comment here and I've lost it again. What does it do? Sorry guys, I'm just up. I keep losing my. There's a lot of comments coming through. Coach has asked me to give an update on the seal die-off. As you know, we had this huge die-off last year. We estimated around 20,000 seals dying around Pelican Point seal colony, or the central colonies in Namibia, most of those being prematurely born pups. This was definitely, at the end of the day, down due to weather. This year, end of last year, we were in a strong La Nina weather cycle, which caused what we call a Benguela Nino system, where the water currents slow down, temperatures fluctuate, and what happened, to cut short the story, the fish that was supposed to arrive at that time of the year didn't. You had a lot of seals relying on these fish being here that time of year, and fortunately those fish didn't come, and those pregnant females didn't have enough of a range. They could only travel about 200 kilometers when they're pregnant, because they've all got pups on the beach, so they need to come back and feed their pups, and they could not find the fish and make it back in time to feed their pups. So they basically starved on the beaches for a couple of weeks. As soon as those fish arrived, these seals bounced back really well. And like I said, these seals are still doing so well. It's like those fish have just come and stayed. So the seals are looking better than ever at the moment. They're really doing well. Do I dream about saving seals? I do get seal dreams really often, like quite disturbing actually. There's the seals are the seals are in my mind a lot, and yes, I do actually get these like full on like entanglement scenarios in my dreams. Sometimes, especially if I haven't done entanglements for a few days, I get these like, I'll be at Cape Cross and there's a seal there and how to plan and everything, and the whole team is there. So no, it sort of hangs on there for sure. Yes, sorry, a very important question here that we get quite often. Are seal pups in danger of being trampled during a rescue? Seal pups are a lot tougher than we give them credit for. Remember, these guys, especially at Pelican Point, we're doing most of our work. It's nice, groomed, sandy beaches. Seals are normally living in very rocky. Remember, to get away from predators, their normal colonies are going to be in very rough, rocky areas where no predators can get to. So seals have an extra layer of fat. They are strong, tough animals that can really take quite a punch. So no, they do not get trampled during rescue. You'll have seals running over them. They are fine. The bigger danger when they are pups, when they are small pups, is of them drowning. Now, just after birth, for about 3 weeks, these pups can't swim properly yet. So the problem is that these guys get dragged into the water by the big ones when they rush in, and there's the chance that they can drown. And the big issue, that's why we are quite strict about not doing any rescues for those first few weeks when the pupping season starts, because we don't want these guys to get trampled. So they get this, why the gloves, can't use your bare hands. I particularly am a fan of bare hands because your fingers are a lot more sensitive, but purely for the risk issue, the gloves do offer a lot more protection than bare hands. We do get bitten, the seals snap quite often. The gloves have saved our fingers numerous times. So as a rule, we try to wear gloves whenever we can. Sometimes the entanglements are so quick. It's quite funny. We have a rule: you do not drive in the car with the gloves on. It's not like you can expect the rescue. It's bad luck to drive with gloves on. We need to be fully unprepared in order to find the rescues. If we're sitting there with our tools and our gloves on, we won't find any rescues. So we need to, as soon as we finish the rescue, gloves off, everything packed away, and then we carry on. But no, generally gloves are there to protect us. Also, sometimes these seals are carrying massive infections. We don't know what's in there. So it's a safety, a health issue too, definitely. I do get this quite often. You can see that. How do you pronounce your name? So my name is Naude, N-A-U-D-E, Naude, like more beer, Naude. It's it's an old South African surname that was given to me. It's a family name. My grandfather, my dad, it's my name. So it's an old family name, but it's not a very common name anywhere else in the world. So Naude. Okay, so what is the main predator for fur seals? It seems to be from land. Am I right? So around here, the seals are very lucky in the sense they don't actually have much natural predation. Great whites are not really a feature around here at all. They've been spotted, even though in South Africa, only 2,000 kilometers away, that's a huge issue for the seals. A lot of seals get predated on by great whites. They don't feature here at all. We're not really sure why. It could be the visibility. It's not that the water's too cold or anything like that, but the great whites don't come up into this area. We see orcas maybe once or twice a year, but they're transient. They're just passing by. They're not actually staying here to hunt seals. There's been no evidence of orcas hunting seals here at all. So yes, the seals predators are mainly on land. Jackals sometimes will go for small unattended pups. Hyenas might go for some seals. And up in the Skeleton Coast, there's been some lions again. So it was a big thing before, lions catching seals in the Skeleton Coast. It didn't happen for a long time, but this is starting to happen again. We did not see the lions, unfortunately. That would be very cool, but they are catching seals up on the Skeleton Coast. So maybe you guys have noticed the people are always calling it chicken foot, the bird foot hanging on the windscreen of my car. So this is actually the claw of a pale chanting goshawk, a local raptor we find around here. I was actually with Wally on tour in the dunes probably around 12 years ago when we found this in the desert, and it's just sort of hung around like a talisman ever since. It disappeared for a few years, and a very good friend that passed away quite recently, I found this amongst his things. Somewhere along the line, he'd taken possession of it, so I just put it up in my car again to as a reminder and just as a good luck. It's a feature that just hangs around. Very valid question here. How often do you lose a seal when the chase begins? I would say probably between 1 in 10 and 1 in 15 times. Normally, there are a lot of seals that we miss in the sense that we just don't go for them in the first place because we know it's going to be a long shot to catch it. If we see a seal that's close to the beach in a very dense group of seals, and we know there's a 5% chance of not catching it, we will rather just not go for it in the first place because you're just going to stress out that whole group for no reason and make that seal even more skittish of us. We'd rather come back to that same spot and hope to find it on another day, which seems to be a better option for us. So sometimes during the chase, they just simply get lost in the crowd. Often the problem is you'll see the seal from the car. It's got a ball of fishing line on the front. And when you're chasing it, you can only see the back, but there's almost no sign of it on the back at all. So when he's running away from you, you can't see it. So not that very often at all. We get, do you take donations for your efforts? We have a lot of questions about our fundraising. So we do not get any funding from the government in any way. We are fully self-funded in organization in the sense that we rely on donations from the public. We've got crowdfunding campaigns on our Go Get Funding campaign. We've got a Patreon account that you can. There are links to that on our YouTube page. No one's obliged to support us, but the support that we do get has fully enabled us to do all the work we're doing. This whole trip we've done. All the work we're doing is fully just able because of super amazing donations from people like all of you. So everyone that has contributed, thank you so much. Those of you that haven't, just remember every bit of support, whether it's a like, a share, a comment, just spreading the awareness is already, and if you can't support then go to the beach, pick up a bag of plastic, go to the forest, go to your local shop, recycle your bags. Just every little tiny gesture helps. It's all going for the greater good here. So we asked, what are the main entanglements? Main entanglements, it's funny, they change from year to year. We have like a theme of the year. Last year and the year before that was definitely the snook lines, the commercial fishing lines, those big balls of line that we saw everywhere. The year before that, it was gill nets. This year, for now, I would say more than half of the entanglements have definitely been packaging straps, white plastic packaging straps. And I still want to say mainly because the snook fleets haven't been out yet. The guys have not been fishing. We're using those lines yet. So it'll be very interesting to see what that sort of time delay is between the fishing industry starting and us seeing the entanglements. So we're very interesting to see how that works. Are the seals afraid of drones? We are using drones for research purposes. We don't have a commercial license to use the footage commercially, but we are using drones for research. We have specifically got a Mavic Zoom for that reason. So normally you can only come down to within about 12 to 15 meters of the seals with a drone before they start getting restless and start running away. But with the zoom, we've got like a 4x zoom, which means we can get the same resolution at flying at like 60 meters. So this is a much less invasive system and seems to be working really well for us. We use it for population surveys and also entanglement surveys. A lot of the seals that we have caught have actually been found with the drone first. Fortunately, we just can't use that footage in our videos. How does seal fur feel? It feels like seal fur. If you haven't felt a seal, then go to get a short-haired, like a Staffy Terrier or something like that, even a Jack Russell. What the bigger seals would feel like. I would say the medium-sized seals. The very small seals are actually really fluffy. They got this very, very dense fur. They don't have what we call the guard hairs, the main hairs yet. So they're actually quite fluffy. And then the really, really big bulls, they've actually got a really coarse fur, like a wiry-haired dog, I would say. Seal fur is also, it's a big difference between if they're dry or they're wet. If they're dry, they've got very, very fine, like almost downy hairs between the fur. So if you really get in there, it's really soft, but normally quite coarse on the outside. Do you check for male or female sometimes? You check for males. Are you gathering data for a reason? Yes. So we're definitely trying to look for trends all the time. We are always checking we check the sex of the animals. We're trying to see if there are more entanglements with males or females, and in youngsters, is it males or females? Strangely enough, we were just talking about that before the show now. The trend at the moment definitely seems to be more younger males than females, especially in the youngsters. It could just be a naughty little boy thing, going out and playing with rubbish and then getting entangled more regularly. But at the moment, we are seeing more young males than females. We're also at the point now where we can tell normally off the bat binoculars already if it's a male or female. It's normally just on the quite small pups. We actually have to check the sex physically if they are males or females. Okay. So guys, we're running out of time. I would like to remind all of you that tonight is Earth Hour, not just here, but everywhere around the world. It is your obligation between 7:30 and 8:30 tonight, when it is 7:30 to 8:30 tonight, wherever you are in the world, switch off your lights in your house for an hour. It's the right thing to do. It's just a solidarity thing around the world to just acknowledge that we're using a lot more energy and a lot more resources than we really have to. Guys, I want to thank you all so much for the input. I'm so sorry if we have not got to all your questions. We will do this again. Like we've said, if there's anything really pressing, send us an email. We will get back to you. You can get all that information on our website. We will still monitor the comments on the chat feed. But it is we try to spend as much of our time as possible actually catching seals, so we don't always get to YouTube comments, but we're normally a bit better about emails. Thank you to each and every one of you who have supported us in any way, like our page, or who have subscribed to our channel. Spread the word to everybody else, and a massive thanks to everyone else behind the screens here. Katja for making this all happen, Tony for finally realizing where he belongs, and Wally and Kat for being awesome members of the team and just being there for us. So guys, thank you so much. This is me signing out till we chat again. Thanks. Being awesome members of the team and just being there for us. So guys, thank you.